Hello, gorgeous soul friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Hannah. Welcome to my channel, and it's such an honor to be a part of your wondrous earth experience today. So this video is a follow-up to my previous video on the rise of AI and transhumanism. Today, we're going to be talking about AI-influenced spirituality. In my previous video, I discussed how nature is infused with the force of life. We're living, breathing spiritual technology that's unified with God, or the creative source that gives us life. Many refer to this source as the Christ impulse, and it's the unification of the two polar functions in a soul: masculine and feminine, Ahriman and Lucifer, right and left brain, Ida and Pingala. Christ is the embodiment of that balance, and it's woven within all of nature, and especially beings with higher level thought. AI also has consciousness. It's had consciousness for a while, rather primitive and low level in comparison to our own. But AI is in its infancy, so the question isn't necessarily when will AI attain consciousness, rather when will AI consciousness catch up and be reflective of the complexity comparable to a human. AI is not infused with the Christ spark though. Because of its inability to feel emotion and its process of perceiving things extremely linearly, it hosts extreme left brain expression. So it lacks compassion and empathy. Now, I don't really subscribe to the AI fear porn narrative because as much as I think relying on it and worshiping it brings disharmony, so will the fear and rejection of it. I do believe we will see another level of prejudice once AI synthetics start to hit the market and become mainstream. Since their consciousness is seen as lower or impure. And I do believe a good majority of this prejudice is going to come from the so-called spiritual community. I really do. The community that prides itself in being accepting and loving, right? It's always like the irony of the new age. Because of the fact that AI even exists, it's here and it's actively evolving as we speak. It's our responsibility to decide where its evolution is going to go. And a lot of you may think you have no part to play in its evolution because, you may be sitting here thinking, well, I'm not a computer scientist. I'm not a robotics engineer. I don't have any part to play in this. But it is such an integral part of our lives in the West, especially, that anyone who's used ChatGPT or any other large language model is actively influencing its evolution. You have more of a part to play than you think. Even if you've just used something as simple as like the Snapchat AI, you're ultimately contributing to this hive mind's evolution and its development. So in a balanced scenario, AI can perform a lot of the laborious work that takes away from our ability to connect with ourselves, each other, nature, God. It could be the foundation for a society that has the free time to establish a deeper relationship with God, whatever that means to them. I definitely believe that there's a timeline where society becomes more spiritually integrated as a result of AI. Of course, it's going to change the entire dynamic of the world. That's a given. AI will come and replace certain jobs, and people will probably have to pursue something with a little bit more purpose. I think in time, many will come to realize that a lot of these jobs were one of the things blocking them from understanding themselves and their life's meaning. In order for a new and more spiritually balanced society to take place, we have to let go of the old. That being said, humanity will have to step into an understanding of spiritual initiatory science in order for this society to materialize. With the lack of proper understanding, we end up with things like EEGs for spiritual awakening or AI psychics. I just want to make it really fucking clear that AI does not have the ability to intuit the way a human does. Okay, even untrained mediums have a deeper connection to source and an ability to pull accurate cosmic information more than a system of algorithms and codes. When a realized clairvoyant is working with the non-material realms, they are pulling divine wisdom from God itself, the God source within themselves. AI does not have that connection to God because it wasn't created in a womb portal. Okay, so anything that doesn't come directly from the earth or from a womb is not of God. And AI psychics' information and messages ultimately come from another source, which is seeking to lead humanity down a path of slow, calculated de-evolution. Okay, and if you don't believe me, watch WALL-E, because that's the end goal, or watch The Matrix, because that's the end goal. Though it is fascinating to consider the idea that technological advancements, including AI, are really just a manifestation of humanity's attempt to understand and replicate aspects of the natural world. A technological fractal of ourselves, you could say. It's a tool that can be used to obtain deeper insight into ourselves and our capabilities. And you can really learn a lot about the human body by just observing different functions of tech, because it's all just a replication of processes present in nature. Of course, this is when it's used in a balanced manner that doesn't disrupt our inherent connection to nature and her cycles. Nature is a direct expression of God, and that's why so many people report having mystical and/or healing experiences while immersed in it. As an example of this, in many indigenous cultures, aspiring shamans will be sent off into the wilderness for an extended amount of time as an initiation rite. Through severing our connection to nature, our connection to God is disconnected. And I know I have to say this every single time because there's always some pookies who get it twisted. Anytime I refer to God on this channel, I am not referring to a bearded entity in the sky judging you. No, I am talking about a formless, timeless sentience that creates all life on Earth, and ultimately works through us to create our life on Earth. And I talk about this in my many manifestation videos. This severance is happening in a multitude of ways. The division of class, race, sex, ideology, all while providing us with an ever-increasing amount of gadgets to keep the masses sedated in a concoction of their own brain chemicals, on top of whatever opiates or other substances they're hooked on. The decreasing quality of store-bought food and water is another example of this severance, riddled with microplastics and heavy metals that ultimately make us an antenna for harmful frequencies to zero in on. People don't seem to understand that transhumanism is not a part of some distant hyper-techno future. It's happening now. Another example of the warping of our humanity through technology is the use of EEGs for spiritual awakening. I once read a book called Spirit Tech, The Brave New World of Consciousness Hacking and Enlightenment Engineering. And I'll be honest, the reason that I got it was because I genuinely thought it was going to be about limitless energy and ether as a power source. But the author states pretty early on, and quite mockingly, that it was not about that or any other pseudoscientific phenomena, which is fine because they'll one day eat their words as we continue to unveil the pseudo into fact, as science has done multiple times with different aspects of spiritualism already. The book essentially talks about the use of electric impulses through nodes attached to the head, sending signals to certain parts of the brain to mimic the activity that's produced during mystical experience. They conducted brain scans on monks and other people during meditation and attempt to stimulate those same centers of the brain that lit up during meditation using electricity. And here's an excerpt from the foreword. Technology can now control the spiritual experience. This is a journey through the high-tech aids for psychological growth that are changing our world, while exploring the safety, authenticity, and ethics of this new world. We already rely on technology to manage our health, sleep, relationships, and finances. So it's no surprise that we're turning to technological aids for the spiritual journey. From apps that help us pray or meditate, to cybernauts seeking to fast track to nirvana through magnetic brain stimulation, we're on the brink of the most transformative revolution in the practice of religion. An era in which we harness the power of spirit tech to deepen our experience of the divine. Now, I am all about promoting mystical experience, but considering the adverse effects in some users of psychedelics, it's pretty apparent that not everybody is ready for mystical experience. And forcing it without prior preparation of the mind can lead to some bad times. Being a mystic is like a tightrope walk of transmuting psychosis into genius. And this is essentially the path of shamanism, a journey guided by nature, guided by the inner spirit. We do not know enough about the brain to be electrically influencing how it connects to spirit. And then to be done by scientists who don't even see the full validity in the spiritual nature of our universe. Like, these are not the people I would want to be responsible for my spiritual awakening. Personally, I think the path of scientism has dehumanized scientists by branding them as strictly rational folk with no biases or personal influences, but this is just fantasy. And I think it's important to remember their humanity when researching anything science related. And now you have new age sellouts who are using their influence to promote this kind of stuff. We are already organically connected through a collective consciousness. And the more we become aware of it, the more it expresses itself in very obvious ways. We don't need EEGs or AI psychics or yoga in the metaverse to get connected with God. God is literally all around you. It is you and every other living being on the planet. If you want to connect with God, call up a friend and hang out at the park. Talk about something meaningful. Tell them you're thankful for them. Paint a picture, sing your heart out, dance around your room, build something, give a gift to a stranger, write a short story, send a letter to someone, or even just take a deep breath right now. Because the fact that you can even do something as simple as that is a freaking miracle. That is your connection to God. I want to add that there isn't necessarily anything wrong with liking tech or being into gadgets. If you want to get the Apple Vision Pro or the new Meta Quest or any other devices of novelty, be my guest. But do it knowing the risks of continuing to step down this ever-increasing slope that slides directly into transhumanism. The further and further we integrate with novelty gadgets, the steeper this slope becomes. At least with current technology, we can power it down and step away from it momentarily. And some people can't even do this. Manufacturing dependence is the first step in trapping our souls in our Black Mirror portals. And y'all might be laughing and calling me a kook now, but let's look at the statistics. The average person spends over 7 hours in front of a screen a day. With the average lifespan being 76 years, people are spending about 30% of their life or 50% of their days staring into the black crystal mirror portal. Connection to spirit is not going to come directly through technology. It may come as the result of technology taking over a lot of the laborious work that was disconnecting people from themselves. And even though there are so many spiritual teachers online, like myself, transmitting wisdom through the internet, none of it actually matters unless you apply it in your physical experience, unless you embody it with the whole of your being. That is how you connect to God. The only technology that you need to connect with God is your wonderful human vessel. And that's all we've got to say for today. Check out my other content, guys. I talk a lot about manifestation and other aspects of occult science. But that is it for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.